Before I served on a jury, I was an eye for an eye person. I actually had never really thought about the death penalty except when I would hear on the news of something that had happened where a man had murdered someone. I would say, well, he deserves to die. He murdered someone. He's going to receive the death penalty, and that's usually the way it is in Mississippi. But until you're actually involved, because the day that I went to the courthouse, they had a jury selection process they went through, and they asked us all. They said, do you believe if the evidence presented beyond a shadow of a doubt supports the death penalty, could you deliver a sentence of death? And I said yes. But little did I know all of that was going to change during the trial. So, I guess we think about these people on death row. They put them away, they lock them in a cage, they leave them there, they're forgotten, they're like animals in a kennel or something. And it was one day, I want to say it was toward the end of the trial, I started watching the plaintiff, the perpetrator, and I started just looking at him. His hands, just picking out certain characteristics about him. And I said, he is a living, breathing human being. He is not an animal. And we're getting ready to kill him. And it's not easy to explain. I believe because of my faith. Maybe God was touching my heart. But I had a heart change. I just knew that I did not want to put this man to death. Everything just changed. My whole opinion. I guess with the selection of the jurors, if you outwardly admit that you are against the death penalty, then you're not going to be selected to be on the jury. You know that, and people that don't want to serve, that have other things to do, they'll say, I don't believe in the death penalty. But they do. They're just saying it to get off. People don't want to do their civic duty. That's one thing. And then the second thing is jurors are not allowed to know certain information. There's a lot of things that are just kept away from the jurors. So you don't know the whole story. In this case, the plaintiff did not have any defense. The attorneys had gotten his case 10 hours before the trial, and they had never tried a death row or a capital murder trial. They had never done that. So when the defense would get up and say these horrible things about their client, they never offered any objection. You go back to the jury room, you're asking why. Then on the final day of deliberations, the judge says, okay, today you're going to deliver a verdict. Here is a written set of questions to help you use it as a tool to deliver your verdict. So it asks you all these questions, and I can't remember. I just remember the last one, which said, what did the mitigating circumstances, which we did not hear any mitigating circumstances, outweigh the aggravating circumstances? So you had to select no. Well, that within itself gives the death penalty. So you're kind of led into giving that decision. So we discussed it in the jury room, about life, but we were told there was no life without parole in Mississippi, which I found out later there is life without parole in Mississippi. So I just felt like the jury, like I went in there blind, not knowing how the system worked. And now, with all the information that's available to you, there's really no excuse. But this was in 1980, no, 1994. So, but like I said before, I just never thought about the death penalty. The average person that's never been involved, I don't think they think about it. Um, Even if they hear, and I'm just speaking from some people I know, even if they hear that this guy, it took him 20 minutes to die or 11 minutes, they say, oh, well, look what he did to those women, or look what he did to that child, or, so they kind of feel like they deserve it either way. Um, and I think some of the jurors that were on with me, and those are the only ones I can speak for. Some of them have changed their minds. Several of them, they would never go through it again. And Bobby's attorney at the time, he said he would never take on another death penalty case. So the effects of this, it's far-reaching. It touches more people than just the victims. I know I've been criticized for not saying anything about the victims. Well, the film was not about the victims. It really wasn't even about Bobby Wilcher, the defendant, but it was about the way that serving on something like this affected the jurors, and that's the point. And it's very far-reaching. Because when I came home, it affected my family. So, I don't know. Maybe it's slowly changing, and I pray for that. But I don't see it in the near future.